Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm not used to being in front of a camera, but I'll give it a shot. I should be used to it. When I ran my restaurant, I did it for 7 years in Woodburn, Oregon. And I also did in town in Woodburn, they had a cable TV. And so they caught my attention, and a friend of mine, and we went down there and we said, we'd like to do some cooking shows on your cable. And they said, sure. One of them was one of my clients. And so we started doing cable TV out there. It was fun. I never did. Oh, okay. I never did save those tapes, but that's okay. It was done. People saw it. Anyway, my name is Elena Moraviev, and my post box is in Idaho, but I like to travel around, and I love to cook. So I ran a restaurant for 7 years. It was called Adam's Garden, and it was a vegan deli and juice bar. And my husband and I and my mother and father and my mother-in-law ran it, and we had a blast. And of course, at the beginning of that journey, I was doing the analogs in the restaurant, and I thought, okay, that's fine. But then I was impressed slowly on down the road to make my own food, my own burgers. So I came up with Adam's Garden Burger, and there was a Seventh-day Adventist Nature's Bake out in Portland. I don't know if anybody knows that, but they made my buns really big so that I can have these big burgers in my place. And then I started making my own cheese, and people just loved them because my sandwiches are like this. I mean, they were just piled high with stuff, and I used a lot of sprouts. And anyway, I had fun. I helped a lot of people. It wasn't a money-making business, but it was very, how do you say, rewarding. So we were able to help a lot of people. And, you know, the interesting thing about it is that when people wanted to pray with us, they would come into the restaurant and nobody else would be there. And so we were able to sit at a table or you know, wherever, or stand, and we would just pray together. And it was very nice, very rewarding. Anyway, today I am going to show you some really simple stuff. Thank you very much, Susan. I'm going to show you how to make a flu bomb. I've been doing that for the last couple of days for Richard and for Melody and for us. Anyway, so I'm going to show you how to make one, and then I'll give you little samples afterwards, after I'm done, or after when lunch is served or whatever. You can come up and take a little sip. And you'll also find it in my cookbook. Both of these recipes are in my cookbook. Anyway, okay, so first of all, we're going to start. I'm going to make a double batch, so it'll fit a quart, okay? And we're going to do, the original recipe is about 1 inch ginger. And if you're a ginger lover, you're going to love it, okay? So I'm going to put 2 inches of ginger. And then we're going to do, anybody love garlic?
Yeah.
I love garlic. I use so much garlic in my place. When we had some free time, I had a little corner table in my restaurant in the kitchen area where there was a window, and we would sit there and peel a quart of garlic. Just sit there and peel garlic. I had my mother-in-law doing that. I had my husband doing that, but my husband was the gopher. He would go to the stores where if I ran short of anything. So anyway, so I'm going to use about 4 to 5 cloves of garlic in each recipe, okay? And then I'm going to use 2 lemons.
Did you peel the ginger?
Yes, I did. Sometimes you don't have to, but yes, this time I did. I'm going to I'm not going to take off all the skin because these are organic lemons. So I put the whole thing in, seeds and everything. I do cut out anything that kind of looks like scabbed or anything like that. I'll cut it off. This is 2. This is a double recipe. That's why there's 2. Okay. And also when I had my restaurant, the reason why I started the restaurant was I came into the Adventist church in 83, I think it was, and I saw the Adventists eating different food that I'm used to. I was a meat eater and cheese eater and fried and all that stuff. That's what my mom taught me. And so when I saw what they were doing, I thought, Lord, I want to do that. And so I started learning how to cook vegetarian. And my husband is a carpenter, was a carpenter, and we had an old farmhouse. So he went and he remodeled the kitchen plus added a family room. So it was huge. It was like 20 by 25, huge room, lots of windows. And guess what the color of my room was? Teal. I love teal. And so I did my rugs teal. I did my furniture teal. I was just crazy with that color. But it was pretty in there because it just brightened up the place. But he went and he made all my pantry and my drawers. He made me pull out drawers to put in bags of flour and bags of beans, and my pantry was for big things. You know, I have these big gallon jars. Behind my counter, he would make, you know, like shelves for my jars. And because then after it was all done, I turned it into a classroom. So I started teaching cooking in my house. And then the Lord impressed me through another friend, why don't you open up a restaurant? And I said, oh, well, okay. So that's what we did. We went to the bank, got our loan, and opened up the restaurant. And for 7 years, I had a blast. It was fun. Anyway. But I always, even at the restaurant, I would still have my classes. I would make it like maybe once a week or something like that in the evening. I would do cooking classes. Anyway, I put 2 heaping tablespoons of honey. Come on. Okay. And then on some of them, I don't do this all the time in mine. But if somebody's sick, I helped quite a few people when I had my restaurant. They would say, I've got a really bad flu. And I would make them these drinks. And then they would come back and say, it went away. Like in 2 or 3 days, it was gone. And so I know it works. Okay, I need my hot water. Put that in there. Just enough to kind of cover it. Huh? In the recipe, it's actually 1 cup per recipe. Okay, but it depends to, that's how much I put, 1 to 1.5 cups of boiling water. Okay, so now I'm going to make some noise, or it's going to make some noise until it's done. Yes. Okay, one more time. I want to make sure it's totally blended because you don't want to drink chunks. Okay, in my recipe, I think it's written in there that you put it through a sieve. Some people prefer it that way. You can if you want. If you want to, drink it that way, that's fine. I prefer doing everything in there. I'd want everything in there. And I also recommend that if you've got a really bad cold and you feel really, lousy before you go to bed, I would suggest drinking at least a cup of this, kind of sip on it, or you make it in a big jar and you can sip on it all day. But if you drink it at night before you go to bed, you can sweat. You can sweat a lot of that fever out, okay? And we've got a little bit of cayenne. Put it at the bottom of your jar. I put quite a bit. And then pour it in. And usually that's pretty nice size quart. I let it settle down a little bit, and then I'll add more water to it all the way up to the top. And I'll just leave that there. So we'll let it settle, and then by the time I'm done with the other project, I could serve you guys a little bit. Okay. Let's go to the next. Okay, this is a real easy salad. And if you love cabbage, you'll love this. When my husband was dying of cancer, we decided to do it at home instead of, going through the conventional. And while he was going through what he was going through, I had people coming over and helping me with him. So I had to make him something. Well, there was a gentleman that came, and he says, I'll make you something. And so he taught me this recipe, and we've been eating it since. We started eating it every day, and nobody got sick. My mother was living with us at the time too, and she would always get sick. But after eating this every day, me and her, she had a cold once when I was taking care of her. And I think I've had it once, maybe twice, and that's been it. And that's been, 30 some years. So anyway, it's great stuff. Okay, so what we're going to begin with is I need some lemon. And I do this in the bowl that I'm going to use for my salad. Okay, I'll do it that way. One is plenty. Anyway, I squeeze my lemon, or you can do it, just from a bottle if you want, but it doesn't taste the same. I think fresh lemon juice is awesome. So I'm going to squeeze that in there. I have to tell you a funny on this one. I did this once in Nevada, in Las Vegas. We were doing a seminar at a black church in Nevada, and and I had my food processor. I was on this side. Had my food processor, putting in my cabbage, just doing all this kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden, it went whoosh. This leg over here folded under, and there goes my salad. And you know what? It all ended up in the bowl. And everybody was going, what was that? Anyway, it startled me, of course, but it was funny afterwards. Okay, so I put 1 lemon in here. I'm only using 1/4 of a head of cabbage. Nice size, not real small, but maybe a medium. size cabbage, okay? And I used 1 lemon. And then I'm going to just drizzle in, I'm going to say that much. About a maybe about a tablespoon, maybe. You know, when you guys do this at home, of course, every cook is different, so you're going to want to create your own anyway. And if you like a little bit more oil, put it in there. If not, so be it, okay? And then I'm going to put some salt. I'm going to put, let's see, maybe that much. Half a teaspoon, maybe. It all depends if you like it real salty. I'm going to be serving this at lunch. I'm going to have a bigger one. I'm going to make a bigger one, of course. But then you can just salt your own. Okay? And then I take for 1/4 of a head, maybe about that much. I'm looking at 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 cloves of garlic.
Oh, yeah, spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
My food is always spicy. No, I'm Russian. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what happens here. And then I say what? Oh, yeah. You know what, though? I bought me a gadget on Amazon. I think it's I should have brought it, but I didn't. It's just a little, it's about the size of a softball, and it's rechargeable, and it's a little food processor for garlic or ginger. I love it. I love it, especially if I'm making a lot of dishes with these things. And it's great with ginger. I'm surprised because ginger is so hard. Anyway, okay. So that's how much garlic I put. No, it's yeah, it's rechargeable, and all you do is press the button. You just, no, but it's pink. They got pink and blue and white.
Is it rechargeable with the USB?
Yes.
Yeah, we have one. So you can take it anywhere.
Yeah, so you could take it anywhere. And of course, I forgot mine. Ginger could be good in here. Is that what you said, Steve?
I said, ginger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When I make, in my recipe book, there's a recipe for pumpkin seeds, dried, and I put them in a brine for overnight. The next day, I'll put a whole cup of this and about a 1/2 cup of ginger, and I'll put it in my seeds and then dry them. If you like garlic and ginger pumpkin seeds, you can make your own. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so now I've got my little dressing here. And then if you're going to put onion, like your white onion or your red onion, put your onion with your sauce and let it sit there while you're chopping up your cabbage, because then it kind of subdues the onion because of the olive oil. Okay? So I'm going to put in my cabbage. So my salad dressing is ready. In this batch, I like onion, especially sweet. So I'll put maybe a 1/2 or maybe a 1/4. It all depends upon how much you like onion. This time I'm using green onion a little bit, two stalks of green onion, and a bunch of cilantro. Okay? That's one of the combinations. Of course, in my recipe, you can make it all kinds of different combinations. Some people like celery, parsley, anything. Yeah, anything. Just make all kinds of different flavors. I like only using 1 or 2 items, and then that's the way I like my salads. But you can almost make this into sauerkraut if you wanted to. Yeah, you can just, except the oil. I don't think you use oil in sauerkraut, but everything else you can. I do sauerkraut with lemon juice and salt overnight first, just the cabbage, and then the next day I add all my vegetables. I'll add more salt if needed, and then I'll add my garlic and ginger and whatever else I want in it. And then I'll let it sit for a couple of days, and then I'll pack my jars and wait until it gets that sweet smell kind of thing. And you've got sauerkraut. Okay. And there you go. You're going to have it for lunch. Anyway, the reason why I brought this out too, I don't know if you're familiar with Adwadi tahini. Excellent stuff. I love this tahini. Adwadi. It's Lebanon, I think it is. Yeah, it's Lebanon tahini. And it is to die for. I use it all the time. I just put it on my salad sometimes, or, especially hummus. And I'll even use it in this sometimes. In my book, of course, there's a tahini recipe with ginger and garlic. And it is, if you like ginger and garlic like we do, there's a recipe in there that it's like a ginger and garlic, ginger and garlic sauce. Excellent stuff. Anyway, thank you very much.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
On the flu bomb, I've read a health site online somewhere, I don't remember, last year when I made flu bomb for me and Sharon, that the hot water destroys the phenols of garlic. It's good for the ginger, but it actually destroys the phenols in the garlic because you don't drink it fast enough.
Okay, then make it with cold water.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say. They said you got to let the water get down to room temperature before you add your garlic.
Oh, okay. The reason why I used hot water is because of the honey. If you're not using honey, if you're going to use, I use stevia. I don't do a whole lot of honey because it's it's too much sweet for me. So, but when I do the stevia, I'll use cold water, and I'll drink it throughout the whole day. I don't wait until the evening. And I'll even drink it when I'm not sick. I love it. It's like drinking salad dressing. You can add tahini to it, and you've got salad dressing. Do I use brewer's yeast in my cooking? No. I like nutritional yeast. I don't use it a whole lot anymore. I used to. But it's, well, I don't know if it's bad. You research it out. You're asking the wrong person. If you were at Life Tree, they wouldn't serve it. If you were at my retreat, I would serve it. Well, yeah, the B12 I think is in there, isn't it? So it depends. For some people, you can get candida from it if you're eating, I used to go like this on everything.
It's also high in written about in Rosa's weight loss.
Isn't that the yeast extract? Isn't that
Similar.
yeast extract? Both of them are?
Yes,
The nutritional yeast and the yeast extract?
my understanding. and not to really mess you guys up, but Bragg's Aminos is on that list too.
Oh, I know, we don't use that.
Yeah. So yes, so I was just saying that yeast extract and brewer's yeast, they are written about in the book Excitotoxins, the Taste That Kills, by a neurosurgeon by the name of Dr.
Blaylock.
Russell Blaylock.
Yep.
And it's because it's so high in glutamate, we have to have glutamate in our brain, and we do, but when we eat too much of it, it causes the neurons to fire to death. And then once they fire to death, their insides leach out and cause other neurons to fire to death, and it creates a cascade effect that can lead to brain damage and like Parkinson's-like symptoms. And if you ever, and it's a very common ingredient, not just those two things, but there's a whole slew of things that goes by. It's like an MSG kind of effect for us. And if you've ever sat down in an Adventist church and you see a lot of seniors and they're doing like this, it's from all those amalgamated meats that we eat. It's really not the best. Our health message really isn't to cook
Healthy anymore.
things. It's more whole foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Christy, I read the same about brewer's yeast, but then I read that nutritional yeast is not brewer's yeast. They're two different,
Yes.
two completely different. But yeah, the brewer's yeast is an excitotoxin, but not the nutritional yeast. Is what I.
Oh, thank you.
But
Okay.
the nutritional yeast is not a yeast. That it shouldn't even be called that, and it doesn't increase candida. And I researched it. It's okay to eat it during the week of unleavened bread. It's not a yeast. It has no leavening effect, and and it doesn't cause yeast problems in the body. Yeah, brewer's yeast is bad. That's my research for what it's worth. I spent a lot of time on it. So
Thank you. All right. Can I what?
Can you wrap it up for the recording?
Oh, yeah, I think I'm finished. I'm done. I'm sweating bullets up here. Oh, thank you. Praise the Lord.